And
Well, I don't have an issue with her. She's trash.
Ms. Gillette, get back here now.
Sorry, I thought it was muted. I apologize.
No, it was not, Ms. Gillette. Here's the deal, Ms. Gillette. That's going to cost you.
Welcome to Rebel Chaser. My name is Gail, and I have a clip for you from Judge Michael Nelson in Texas. He's hearing a child custody issue in which the father is seeking to have more time with his child. The mother, on the other hand, is trying to prove how angry and irresponsible and horrible he is and how he couldn't possibly take care of her child. But it turns out throughout this entire hearing, she proves how angry and bitter and toxic she really is. And I'm sorry it's long, but there's fire throughout the entire thing. So I'll let you guys watch.
Started in October of 2022.
Well, no, December, actually.
December of 2022 or 2023?
22 when she was born. I believe Jana would have that direct information.
She's not a witness. I'm asking you.
If you don't know, ma'am, if you don't know the answer, ma'am, just say you don't know, okay? Or you're not sure.
I do not know the dates.
Okay.
Was it this past Christmas or the Christmas prior?
The Christmas prior.
Okay. And then she came to live with you again in March was your testimony? I'm sorry.
I don't want to testify to dates. I do not know the dates.
You don't know when your child came to live with you?
I believe it was in March. But she lived with me the whole time. So it wasn't like a significant, memory of a date. We were together the whole time.
Is that because you live with your mom and dad?
Correct. It was that I had to be supervised. So my daughter, Kendall, and Meadow, we lived here.
And do you still live with your parents?
No, ma'am. I've reiterated this to you. I live at home with Meadow and Kendall.
Okay. As far as visitation goes, has Mr. Kelly been visiting with Meadow?
Yes, he has, and I'm confused as to his sister was truly the one supervising it.
Ma'am. Yeah. Listen to the question, answer the question, stop. The question was, has he been visiting? And it's yes. No, the state will.
Yes, he is visiting. It is supervised.
As they see fit. Thank you.
And if I'm remembering right, his sister or his mother are the ones that are supervising the visits?
Correct. On the latest temporary order, we did add his mother, and there has been, I believe, 3 visits with her.
Okay. In your opinion, how have those visits been going?
In the beginning, Meadow was crying when I would drop him off. It did get, a little better. I try to encourage her to walk to him, but she's definitely jumping back in my arms as soon as he gets back. And then I don't see the visits. I haven't got any, reports on it or anything from Jana as to her discovery when they were there, so I can't speak on that.
Have you directly communicated with Mr. Kelly at any time since the last time we were in court?
Yes, Ms. Hubbard. I have been communicating with him through the app as requested through the temporary order. Okay. There was a time when he, oh, never mind.
How has that been going?
It's very, I guess you would say civil, although it's not interactive. We are able to speak cordially on Meadow. I do believe that this is because when CPS ended, they requested that we continue with a family therapy, and Alan Kelly refused to do that.
Have you been in therapy because of in following the CPS order? Have you been in the type of therapy they requested?
So, Ms. Hubbard, I actually have been in therapy for 10 years. I do that through Lone Star Circle of Care. I did get an amazing counselor with CPS. However, I've lost my insurance, and so I couldn't continue with him. But I've been with them for 10 years.
Is the therapy you're receiving currently like a family-based therapy or an individual therapy?
So we do individual therapy.
Yeah, don't explain. Individual therapy is the answer. Thank you. Sorry. She'll expand as needed. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
So is Meadow currently in therapy as well?
She's a year and a half. So no, she's not in any type of a therapy.
Does she have any medical conditions or health concerns?
I mean, not anything outstanding that, currently she has hand, foot, mouth disease. We tried to speak on it last night on the app. It was an interesting conversation.
And how does Meadow currently have insurance?
So I do have Medicaid. I put that in as Exhibit G. And then he does provide some insurance, and I would like an opportunity to speak. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but to speak on some bills.
Ma'am, you're on the witness. Am I going to have to bring y'all in here to the courtroom?
I don't know.
Yeah, because this is what it's looking like, ma'am. Because here's the deal. You're technically on the witness stand. All you gotta do is listen to the question and answer the question. You don't get to elaborate. You don't get to tell your side of the story until it's your time to tell your side of the story. States trying to get the information that they need where they can make a decision on how they want to go forward. So again,
I apologize. I'm learning this walk.
Okay.
I don't know how to do it.
Well, again, bottom line is just answer the question and then stop, and then the state will expand. And then, like I said, man, if it's something that's relevant at the end, we'll get to it if you want to bring it out at that point.
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed, Ms. Everett. And ma'am, if you might want to take notes of anything you might want to bring out that you did think came out during the hearing, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Gustafson, you're a witness.
Yes. Ms. Gillette, when did you meet Mr. Kelly?
So I met Mr. Kelly, we've been together 7 years now, 2015, August 30th.
Okay, but you're no longer together, is that right?
No.
Okay. And how did you meet him?
So I was an intern counselor at Syntax. I was an LCDC counselor. He had just come out of prison. I was not his direct counselor.
Okay, so Ms. Gillette, at Syntax, is that a drug and alcohol place?
Correct.
Okay. And so he had just gotten out of prison when y'all met, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you have a lot of concerns about Mr. Kelly having Meadow unsupervised, is that right?
I do.
And part of that stems from Mr. Kelly assaulting one of your daughters, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And that happened in 2017, is that correct?
Yes.
And Mr. Kelly was arrested and charged and served time for that, is that correct?
He did.
And during that time period through 2018, is that correct?
I don't have his parole paperwork. I did email it to him, but the judge had previously asked that he submit that, and I don't believe he did.
So,
I don't.
But he was paroled and he completed that sentence. Is that right?
Yes.
And so, after he was paroled, you got back together with Mr. Kelly, correct?
Well, no, we were together during his parole.
Okay. So was it Kendall that Mr. Kelly assaulted?
Yes.
So how many children do you have, ma'am?
I have 4.
Okay. And how many do you have custody of?
All of them.
Okay. And how old are they?
15, 14, 10, and a year and a half.
And
I mean, 16. Did I say 16?
you said 15.
16, 15, 10, and a year and a half.
Now, your oldest, she just had a birthday, correct?
She did, yes.
And you share joint custody with her, is that right?
Right. I'm not possessory. I'm the other one. But yeah.
So you're not the one that determines the residence for her.
Well, we don't really have an order. I get along with him. I mean, they just go back and forth at this point. It's just what it is.
Okay. And so you have two with that father, correct?
I do.
And then Kendall's father, he's deceased, correct?
Yes.
And then there's Meadow.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So after Mr. Kelly served time for assaulting Kendall, y'all continued to be in a relationship. And when he was paroled out, he moved back into your home. Is that right?
Correct.
And at that point in time, you decided you wanted to have Meadow, correct?
No, not immediately.
But at some point you did. And in
Right.
order to have Meadow, you had to have a surgery to have your tubes untied, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you made a conscious decision after Mr. Kelly had assaulted your youngest child and served time for it to have a surgery to get pregnant by Mr. Kelly, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So y'all had Meadow.
I don't know if I could pause you for a minute. He said I could take that.
No, you can't.
Okay.
Man. Sorry, she gets to ask the questions at this point. Sorry. May
I'm just
proceed.
trying to have an opportunity to write my thought.
So, Ms. Gillette, Meadow was born in September of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Kelly has not been back to jail since Meadow was born. Is that right?
Well, I don't know his current, what's been going on with him, but not while we were together.
Okay. So while you were together after he was paroled, he was not sent back to jail.
No.
Okay. And since Meadow was born, to your knowledge, he has not been back to jail.
Correct.
And at the time you met him, he had come out of prison and he was struggling with drug and alcohol issues, correct?
No, he was in a program called Safe P. And so he was recovering from it. I would hope, was sober in prison.
Okay. Now, when did you and Mr. Kelly separate? Around the time of the CPS case?
Yes.
Okay. And the CPS case happened in December of 2022, is that right?
Yes.
And
yeah.
Now in the CPS case, you had testified previously that you have been seeing a therapist for about 10 years, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you actually have a mental health diagnosis of being bipolar, is that right?
Correct.
And you take medication for that.
Yes, ma'am.
And you try very hard to keep that in check, is my understanding. Is that correct?
It's much easier with him out of my life, yes.
But that's something that you've been treated for and you continue to take medication for that.
Yes, I'm very diligent on my mental health. I have an amazing support group. And there were safety plans put in place with CPS that I do follow.
But in December of 2022, you had some sort of breakdown and you were in a manic phase or something happened in December of 2022 that caused you to have Meadow removed from your care. Is that right?
Yes. I had just had her and I had to not have those medications while I was pregnant with her. My whole family knew that we would have to re-regulate. I had no children with me. It's confusing as to why CPS came in. At the end of it, Brandy said if I'd hired an attorney, it
Ma'am,
would.
ma'am,
I'm
ma'am,
gonna
ma'am,
object to her.
Okay, ma'am.
to hear-
First off, don't, again, listen to the question, answer the question, and never testify to something the third party said, okay? If you want to bring them in as a
Oh.
witness, testify, then fine, but you cannot tell the court anything a third party person said, all right? You can tell the court anything Mr. Kelly said, but that's pretty much it, all right?
Okay, thank you for that knowledge.
So at the time that Meadow was removed, you were out wandering around, you were in a manic phase, you were put in the hospital. It was a bad time for you when that happened, correct?
I don't feel that I would say bad.
It wasn't one of your better days.
It was a time when I needed to have help, but we had a plan in place and Mr. Kelly did not follow it.
So at that time, CPS placed Meadow with your parents and allowed you to live there, correct?
Yes,
And at that time, you had to be supervised around Meadow.
correct.
And at that time, Mr. Kelly was allowed to have unsupervised access to Meadow, and she was just a few months old. Is that also correct?
That is correct.
And during the entire CPS investigation, Mr. Kelly had unsupervised visits with Meadow, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am, again, that's the answer, thank you.
Now, when the case ended, Mr. Kelly was still having unsupervised access to Meadow. Is that right?
Mr. Kelly did not invoke
Mm,
that.
I'm going
I
to
thought I could
object
speak
for
on
being
Mr. Kelly.
non-responsive, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Gillette. Again, answer the question, stop. If the truth's the truth, all right, that's all, that's what I want. I don't want it shaded, I don't want it spun, I just want the information, ma'am, so.
Yep.
So listen to the question, answer the question, and then stop. Okay, thank you. You may proceed again, Ms. Gustafson, thank you.
So at the end of the CPS case, Ms. Gillette, CPS allowed you to have custody of Meadow on your own without your parents around, correct?
That is correct.
And Mr. Kelly at the time, there were no restrictions put on his visitation, correct?
Correct.
Now, when the CPS case ended, did you allow Mr. Kelly to see Meadow?
Yes, for a period of time.
And did you allow him to see her unsupervised?
Yes, for a period of time.
And when did you stop those visits?
I believe it was Father's Day, like close and around that.
And was there a reason you stopped those visits?
Yes, I had gone by his work to give him a Father's Day gift, and his anger was exposed. He threw it in the car, and I don't know, my ex-husband and I can do things like that. But actually, in those pictures you had sent me, the book is there. I just want to say it. Sorry.
I'm going to object to her being non-responsive. So after Father's Day of 2023, you did not allow Mr. Kelly to see Meadow again. Is that right?
That is correct.
All right. So until the judge ordered for him to have some sort of supervised visit, in this case, he did not see Meadow, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, at this point in time, you have a pending DWI, is that right?
Yes.
And that occurred in what date did you get the DWI?
I don't know the date.
Was it in 2023?
Yes.
And was it during your CPS case?
Yes.
So it was before Father's Day then.
After.
So it was before June of 2023.
Yeah. I don't have a calendar, man.
Well, you said it was during your CPS case and you had Meadow living with you before Father's Day. And so obviously your case had been closed. So it was leased in the first half of 2023, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And do you have a court date for that?
No, I am currently on a deferred adjudicated probation. All fees and fines have been paid, and it will be ending in April.
And do you have a device on your vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. Would you have a problem if the court imposed on both of you a restriction of the use of alcohol for 12 hours prior to any possession period of Meadow?
I would prefer 24.
But you don't have any problem for that for you
In my
or,
exhibit, I proposed it.
or for Mr. Kelly?
In my exhibit, I proposed it.
Okay. All right. Now, Mr. Kelly did provide you information about his insurance. Is that right?
Not in the timely manner the judge requested.
Okay, but he did send you the information. Is that right?
At a visit, his girlfriend handed a card to me.
You mean at the exchange?
Yes, ma'am.
And you would feel safer if the exchanges of Meadow continued at the police department?
Being as we live in Troy, I don't know why we can't change it to that. There's a camera there.
You mean the Troy Police Department?
Yes, ma'am. Both of us currently reside in that town, so it'd just be easier.
Okay. But you would prefer for the exchange to still occur at a police department?
I mean, I do think about like how that looks to Meadow. I'd be fine with Target. I mean, there's cameras all over this world at this point, but I do think about what Meadow, his memories are going to look like, and I don't like it, but I understand the judge imposed it, and I get the reason as to why. But I do believe even Target has cameras.
Now, I know that you had presented as one of your exhibits what you would like to see as a possession and access order moving forward. And is that what you're still requesting for the court to do, to start out with continued supervised visits?
Yeah, and we can expand the time. But yes.
So you would still like for Mr. Kelly to have continued supervised visits, even though he's had the first and third Saturdays from 1 to 5 for a considerable amount of time. You still think he needs supervised visits for at least 8 more visits?
Yes, ma'am. Given the explosive behavior that caused me to, end it and keep Meadow safe, I think it's important for Meadow to slowly be graded into this.
So, Ms. Gillette, when you ended your relationship with Mr. Kelly, you actually ended it at the CPS case, correct?
I did not end it. Mr. Kelly did.
All right. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, anything on redirect, Ms. Hubbard?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Ms. Gillette, are you still concerned if your address or phone number is included in this order that either Mr. Kelly or someone else may harass you, harm you, or try to come and hurt you?
Oh, yes. In Exhibit H, I explain why.
Ma'am, we can't refer to exhibits that
Oh.
are not admitted into evidence. Can you just answer?
Yes, I'm fearful. My father is fearful. You can push somebody to a point, and he is that person that can do that. So yes, I'm very afraid.
Even though your prior testimony was that the communications you've had have been civil?
Well, that was not correct. They're not always civil. They're just blatant.
What was that word? I'm sorry, my audio cut out.
Blatant.
Blatant?
Correct.
Blatant.
I mean, I guess what I'm meaning is there's innuendos in it. Yes, from your appearance, it looks very civil. However, with my knowledge and my experience with him, there's very much undermining, is what I'm trying to say. But yes, it would appear civil to you. We both know the platform that we're using.
Thank you. I pass the witness.
All right, here's the deal, Mr. Kelly. I allow parties to ask questions, but they have to ask them through me because I want to make sure they are a proper legal question as far as a courtroom setting is concerned. So at this time, do you have any specific questions of Ms. Gillette? And please, if you do, tell me. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. What questions do you? What's your first question, if you have any, sir?
My question is, how does she know where I live? That's my question. Whenever my address
Okay,
is.
stop. Okay, stop. One question at a time.
Okay.
All right, so all right, it's kind of a weird question, but anyway, ma'am, is there a reason? Do you know where Mr. Kelly lives at this time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, that's good. Stop. Okay, and how do you know that? How did you get that information, ma'am?
Per email from Miss Jana, and then also communication with his sister Amanda.
All right, thank you. Next question, Mr. Kelly.
She said that she's afraid, she's.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. So testify.
Okay, I'm not.
Okay. Testify.
Okay.
But do you have a specific question that you want Ms. Gillette to answer, sir?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, you don't worry. You're gonna get a chance to be called as a witness here in a moment. But
Okay.
yeah. All right. All right. Thank you very much. Anything else on recross, Ms. Gustafson?
Yeah, I have a question for Ms. Gillette. Ms. Gillette, when I sent you the pictures of Mr. Kelly's home yesterday as a copy of the exhibits I was going to use, did you contact me and tell me that that was not the correct address for Mr. Kelly?
Oh, yes, it's in the email. It's documented.
So at that point, is that what you're referring to about me providing an address for you?
No, I got it clarified through his family member. However, he did live at that address. There's a civil suit coming forward, and so also my dad is learning addresses as well. So he did reside at that time for a period of time.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Hubbard.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Here's what I'm gonna do, folks. I'm gonna go ahead and take I hate to do it this fast, but I'm gonna take a 15-minute recess. I'm gonna have Belinda reduce all these exhibits down to PDFs, and I will have them setting and I'll have them bring them and send them to me an email or put them on a memory stick and bring them in here. I understand there's some volume in there. So anyway, it is now almost 25 after 10. We'll reconvene at a quarter to 11. Thank you.
Thank you.
Record on Bell County cause number 23 DFAM 339,602. At this time, I allow the state to go ahead and call their next witness. Thank you.
Yeah, the state would like to call Alan Kelly. Sir, will you state your name for the record?
It's Alan Wayne Kelly.
And sir, you agree that you're the father of Meadow in this case?
Yes.
Do you have any other children?
No.
As far as when it comes to Meadow, do you feel like you can make interest or decisions that are in the best interest of her?
Yes.
Okay. For the visitation, how do you feel that it's been going?
I think it's been going good.
How many visits have you had since we were last in court?
Okay.
And by last in court, I believe we were here in January?
19th. Yeah, January.
Oh, February. Okay.
So it's gonna
January.
be 4 or 5, something like that.
And those visits have been supervised by your sister and your mom?
Yes.
Have there been any issues that have occurred during those visits?
No.
Okay. And have you missed any periods of visitation since the last hearing?
No.
Okay. Would you feel comfortable having visits with Meadow unsupervised?
Yes.
And you feel like you can provide for all of her needs?
Yes.
As far as the place to meet for pickup and drop off, do you have a preference on that?
A police station.
Do you, I don't know which police station it is. Are you requesting the Troy police station?
I don't know anything about the Troy police station. I know it's very small, and I don't think they have anybody in there. I really don't know. So, I mean, I'm comfortable with Temple, honestly, because I know, I mean, if anything happens, that's what my concern is. If anything happens, there's, you know, there obviously there's cameras and when there's a witness, and you can walk right through the door and there's people in there.
All right, again, sir, I was going to get some questions along those lines, whether or not Troy had a full-time facility like, you know, even Belton there, that's out front. It's not that full-time. They have a bunch of people always in the back, but so again, I'll get some more information about that from the mom in a moment also to double check.
Okay.
For right now purposes, sir, both of y'all live in Troy?
Yes, I live in Pendleton, which is right.
I know, don't worry, I had a
Yeah,
friend.
yeah. Yeah, it's basically Troy. Yes.
Right, understood. No problem. Thank you. You may proceed then, Ms. Hubbard. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Are you working anywhere currently, sir?
Yes.
Where do you work?
It's called Anderton Casting. It's here in Troy.
How long have you worked there?
4.5 years.
Okay,
Basically,
go
once
ahead,
I
sir.
got out of prison, I went straight to work. 2 weeks out, and I've had that job ever since.
Okay. So since we did the guideline support in a prior order, has anything changed?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
So back in, and I apologize, my screen seems to ran away. We've done a temporary order in March of 2024, or excuse me, that was when it was signed. That is not when the order was done. We did one in January of 2024 and in September of 2023. And I believe we did a guideline child support order. Has anything changed since those calculations were made?
No.
Have you gotten a raise or gotten more hours or less hours?
No, we're really slowing down, but so I'm not getting any extra hours, and there's no raises involved as well.
Okay. At the time, it looks like we calculated your gross monthly resources. So before taxes or anything's taken out of your paycheck, we calculated $4,073. Is that still a correct number for about what you received before taxes?
Yes.
Okay. And you do not have any health insurance available through your work?
I do. Yeah, and I have metal on it as well.
Oh, okay. How much does that cost you each month to have metal on that insurance?
I think it's somewhere around 40, but that's just for health. Eventually I'm gonna have to do dental.
40 per paycheck?
40, I think it is 40 per paycheck. Yes.
How often do you get paid?
Every week. So I really can't remember. Maybe it's 40 a month. I'm not 100% sure.
So we'll get an opportunity to find that out, and if necessary, get an update from your what we used to call personnel, and now they call human resources, and you can get that information to Ms. Gustafson. Thank you.
All right.
Do you know what it might cost to have her on your dental plan?
No, I don't.
Okay. Uh, so, have you ever been in the military or served as a first responder?
No.
Okay. And I think last time, you had expressed the need for your address and phone number to be kept out of this order because you feel like someone might harass or harm you.
Mhm.
If it's included, do you still have that concern?
No, you can open it up.
Was the person you were concerned about having your address Miss Gillette?
Yes.
And she knows where you live currently?
Yes. So might as well just put it on the record that my address is, you know.
Don't say, no, you don't have to give it out live here, sir. Don't worry.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, we're broadcasting on YouTube. You
Okay.
understand, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Gustafson.
Mr. Kelly, so during the time that you've been visiting with Meadow since the court order was put in place, all those times have been supervised, correct?
Yes.
And there were a couple of visits that you were not able to exercise because your sister was not able to supervise your visits. Is that right?
Yes.
And that was due to her having plans or like other obligations that were taking her out of town, correct?
Yes.
And that's why we asked in February to at least add your mom as an additional supervisor.
Yes.
And so do you think at this point that your visits should be supervised?
No.
Are you comfortable having Meadow alone and taking care of her alone?
Yes.
Now, are you comfortable taking care of her overnight?
Yes.
Now, you heard me ask Miss Gillette questions. It's true that you did go to prison for assaulting Kendall, is that right?
Yes.
And afterwards, you moved back in with Miss Gillette, correct?
At first, no, I lived in an RV park for like a year and a half or something like that. And then I got off parole and then moved back in with him.
And since you got off parole, have you had any more trouble where you got arrested or any more trouble with the law?
No, I only had one ticket and that's it.
And what was the ticket for?
Speeding.
And at this point in time, you haven't had any trouble with alcohol or drugs?
Nope.
And you don't have a problem with there being a ban on alcohol or drugs 24 hours before any possession period with Meadow?
Yep, that's fine with me.
Currently, you're living in Pendleton, you said?
Yes.
Who lives with you?
My fiance, Karina Johnson.
And how long have you been living with her?
Almost a year now.
And you said y'all are engaged, correct?
Yes.
Now, you also heard testimony about the CPS case. During the CPS case, did you have to work any services?
I had to do counseling and, just take UAs or whatever, but I had to do individual counseling, and at the very end, I think we did one or two family counseling things. And then the CPS, everything went away.
And at any time, was your visitation supervised?
No.
And how long would you have Meadow unsupervised?
For a very short time, maybe a few hours, 2-3 hours before she started asking for Meadow back.
So when CPS was involved, how long would you have her?
The same, it'd be the same thing, just a few hours.
And how old was she then?
3, 4 months.
So she was 3 to 4 months old.
Mhm.
She's quite a bit different now. Is that correct?
Yes,
So when you have the visits now, who takes care of her? Who changes her pants? Who gets her food? Who does all of that?
I do it.
Do you think you're capable of doing it without anybody being around?
Yes.
Do you know what Miss Gillette is referring to when she said that she brought you a gift on Father's or for Father's Day and you displayed anger and that's why she stopped your visits? Do you know what she's referring to?
Yes. You want me to explain?
Can you please tell me what your perception as to what happened that day?
So,
Objection.
okay.
Okay, stop. Hold up. What's the objection, ma'am?
So we weren't allowed to elaborate whenever I was on stand.
All right, ma'am, here's the deal. She asked him a question. What's your objection to the question, ma'am?
She's asking, can you explain? This isn't the time.
Okay, here's the deal, ma'am. Oh, that's not a proper objection. Again, I know you're not a lawyer, ma'am, but I am. And if you're gonna make an objection, it's gotta be something. It's gotta be hearsay. It's gotta be not in evidence, a legal objection. And that's not a legal objection, ma'am, so it's overruled.
I got the words. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you may answer the question, Mr. Kelly. Thank you.
Okay, so on that day, she came and I did get upset because she just shows up at my work unannounced. And just real quick, prior to this, she showed up to my job and they were having to call the cops on her because she was acting out and acting a fool.
So Mr. Kelly, how many times had she been to your job previously?
Objection, show proof.
Okay.
No proof.
Okay, ma'am, that's not an objection either. I'm sorry. Yeah, overruled, ma'am.
I could say maybe a handful of times.
3 to 4?
Yeah, something like that.
And so was she putting her job in jeopardy?
Not the time that she was bringing the gift, but the time before, yes.
And did you throw the gift?
I put it in my truck, whether she perceived it as throwing or not. I
Objection. It wasn't a truck. It was a broke down, like, you're just lying on stand. And I have to say that.
Mrs. Lett, I'm getting ready, I'm getting ready to put you in a breakout room and not let you participate in this, ma'am, okay? It's a deal. If you want to make an objection, I told you, you can make an objection, but once you make the objection, here's what lawyers do. They stop and they let the judge make a ruling on whether or not the objection is a proper one. So at this time, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor, I will respect that.
All right, now. So again, I'll let Ms. Gustafson repeat the question. And ma'am, like I said, the objection you gave is not a proper objection, so it's overruled, and Mr. Kelly can answer. Thank you.
Mr. Kelly, you understand that Ms. Gillette is concerned about your temper and how you will handle Meadow. You understand her concern.
do understand that.
And you understand that Kendall was injured at your hand. Is that right?
Yes.
What can you tell the court to make the court feel comfortable about you having unsupervised access to Meadow?
I'm not on drugs anymore. I was heavily on meth at that time. And then I went to prison. I've been sober ever since. My mind is more clear.
And so how long has it been since you've used meth?
Up to the day that I went to jail at 2018 or 17 or whatever it was.
So
When
at
she
the
was my-
time,
Okay, never mind.
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
So at the time that Kendall was injured, you were using meth.
Yes. We both were.
So Miss Gillette and you both were using meth?
Yep.
And since Meadow has been born, have you used meth?
Nope.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, sir. Are you any type of program at this time as far as Alcoholics Anonymous or the meth equivalent of that? Are you in any type of special program at this time, sir?
No, sir, I'm not.
All right. Did you complete such a program for any portion of the requirements of your incarceration or getting out of jail, or you're getting out of jail? And I'll back up. Did you have to do any type of program while you were incarcerated for that assault, sir?
I didn't have to. I did courses on my own.
All right. And then once you got out, was there any program that was mandated for you while you were out, sir?
Yes, I had to attend AA like twice a week or something like that.
Yeah.
And I had to get a certain amount of hours, which, but then, I completed it.
All right. Were you out on a parole, sir?
Yes.
All right. Have you completed that parole?
Yes.
All right. You do not have to report any longer or anything like that.
No, I got off early.
All right. Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Hubbard, your witness.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Gillette, here's your deal. It's your turn. Again, I always let pro se litigants have to ask their questions through me. That way I can see whether or not they're relevant and allow them to do so. Because when pro se asks pro se, they don't know a lot of times whether or not it's a proper question. So at this time, ma'am, you're up. What's your first question of Mr. Kelly?
All right, Mr. Kelly, in prison, were you diagnosed with any mental disorder or on any medications?
Okay, let's get that out first, one at a time. Were you diagnosed with any mental disorder, sir?
I not in prison. No, I don't think so. Maybe in jail. I'm not in jail. I think I was depression or something like that. So they had me on a depression medication, and that's it.
Okay, and by jail, sir, you mean where were you in jail at that time? You recall?
Bell County, who is the one that diagnosed me.
All right, thank you. Next question, ma'am.
So when you came out, did you continue on medications?
I did for a little while.
I'm sorry. Let me back up here, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Judge needs a time frame here. When were you in was this Bell County? You were in Bell County jail before your conviction and then subsequent going down to TDJC, sir?
Yes.
All right, and what year was that again, please?
2018? No, 17.
All right, and once you went down, did they keep you on medication, sir?
Yes.
Okay, and how long were you on that medication, sir?
The duration of about two and a half years, something like that.
All right, next question, Ms. Gillette.
Are you currently on any medications? Have you continued with the things that they've brought forward?
Can I answer?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, I am currently on medication, and I take blood pressure medication, and I also take Zoloft for anxiety.
Would you be able to provide any proof to that?
No, I can show you on the screen right now.
Stop. It's good, ma'am. You can't ask him for proof. You can ask him to.
It's just difficult because.
But asking him to provide proof on the witness stand is not practical. Go ahead.
Okay. So, Mr. Kelly, do you feel that you have a problem with lying?
No.
No. You claim that you have only had 4 to 5 visits, correct?
Since January 19th, I believe so, yes. Because January, February, March. It's now March. There's 2 to 3 weekends in each. So February only has 2 weekends. March has what, 3, and I'm only on 2 so far, so 4.
But in total this time, how many visits have you had with Meadow?
I could not tell you exactly the number. Maybe I don't know. I know it hasn't been that much.
You claim that we did not miss a visit.
No, I claimed you're correct on one part. I claimed that I did not miss a visit since January. Before that, I did miss a visit because my sister went out of town.
Okay. So have I kept you from any visits?
Your Honor, I think someone's
Yeah,
giving
here you
a
go.
question to
Yeah,
answer.
here's the deal, man. Who's in there? Who's in there with you?
Oh, wow, you're gonna ask me with not them? Mom, go back that way. Just go back.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, your mother's gonna get disqualified as being a witness at this
Well,
point.
could we get a scan of that house? Anyhow, I apologize.
Well, ma'am, she's giving you information, so that's not allowed again, unless your mother's a licensed attorney.
That's fine.
Okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
So I am able to speak on Exhibit H, the conversation that I've had with his sister.
Objection, Your Honor, the exhibits have not been admitted.
Sustained. Ma'am, this is your time to ask Mr. Kelly questions as your own legal counsel. What's your next question, ma'am, or do you have any more questions? Thank you.
Have you ever stated that I should just have an abortion when I was pregnant with Meadow?
Yes, I did, because I didn't believe that you were pregnant.
And did you do that in front of anybody?
Yeah, your father.
Can you tell us why you feel that way?
Because I didn't believe that you were pregnant, and prior to the history that we have and your mental stability and you coming over and breaking my property. Yeah.
Mr. Kelly, was my name on that property as well? Was it co-owned?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the relevance.
Okay, Ms. Kelly, you went past the question a little bit. So the bottom line is I'm gonna sustain that objection. It's not relevant. Folks, I'm trying to figure out visitation here. I've been doing this for 20 years. Stop. I've been doing this for 20 years.
I'm trying to establish.
This is crazy. Don't ever interrupt me, because I'm the guy that can put you in jail. Okay? There you go. Here's the deal, folks. I've heard that abortion thing 10,000 times sitting on this bench. Okay? It happens. But for right now, I need to know. I'm allowing you to ask questions, ma'am. So you need to get to the point, and everything, it has to be relevant. And I'm looking at, it's setting up this man's visitation. So
Okay, yes,
something
sir.
that happened 4 years ago is not going to be relevant to the visitation today. So next question, ma'am.
During CPS, you had unsupervised visits and you could have actually taken Meadow at any time. Correct?
Yeah.
Why didn't you not evoke that?
Because when I took her out, all I got was phone calls and text messages. Bring her back. Blah 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 blah. That's
You had a place.
You deterred me
Okay,
from.
ma'am, let him answer the question. Thank you. You ask it, he gets the answer. Thank you. All right, sir. Again, is there anything else in addition to that answer? The mother and again, sir, I'm assuming that you say you keep getting messages and text messages. Are those strictly from Miss Gillette or for somebody else?
From her, nonstop. Just bring her back. You need to bring her back. Da, 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 da. I'm like, man, all right,
Okay.
trying to do the right thing. Take her back.
All right, next question, sir. Ma'am, thank you.
But at that time, you had a house and nobody would have stopped you. However, you chose to leave.
Okay, ma'am, you're testifying. You're testifying. That's not a question, ma'am.
Okay. So you did you have a house where you could have taken Meadow?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Can you explain why?
I don't understand that. What?
I'm going to object to the
Okay,
relevance.
ma'am, he already answered the question.
Why is that not relevant? Okay, I'm done. I'll pass it.
Okay.
He could have took her at any time.
Ma'am, don't testify. Don't make statements. You can make a closing argument. What you're doing is called a
There you
closing
go.
argument.
That's
Again,
good. Thank you,
can
Your
do that
Honor.
at the end of the hearing. Thank you. All right. Anything on redirect on this one, Ms. Hubbard?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Any other questions, Ms. Gustafson?
Yes, I need to enter my exhibit that I sent to all the parties. I had one exhibit that consisted of 36 pictures, Your Honor, and I need to ask Mr. Kelly some predicate questions real quick.
All right. Do you have that? Do you have that? You can go ahead and do a share screen on that. Belinda has sent those over by email, and I have not downloaded them. So let me.
Ms. Gustafson, if you need me to, I can share my screen. I have
That would be helpful because I don't have it set up on my laptop.
Okay.
Mr. Kelly, can you see the pictures?
Yes, I can see them.
Okay. Did you send me these pictures?
Yes.
And did you take these photos?
You want to start scrolling down, please? Thank you.
Yes.
And what are these photos of?
Photos of my home that show that I have adequate space for my daughter when she does come over.
And do they accurately reflect how your home appeared at the time that you took the photos?
Every single day.
And when did you take these photos?
Well, last week, Wednesday. I mean, I couldn't tell you the exact day. I forgot, but it was last week.
So it was about a week ago.
Yes.
And so you have a place for her to play, a place for her to stay,
Yes.
and this is the condition of your home.
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to ask the court to enter this Exhibit a group of 36 pictures.
All right, I'll have these marked, printed out and marked as ad litem's Exhibit A. I'll start with the state. Any objection to ad litem's A coming in evidence at this time?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then, Ms. Gillette, any objections, ma'am? You muted, ma'am.
Wow.
Mr. Gillette, you're muted, ma'am. I'm asking you a question. Do you have any objection to ad litem's A coming into evidence?
Your Honor, is she talking with someone?
Yeah, she is. All right, Ms. Gillette, you're muted, ma'am. You need to unmute yourself. Do you have
Yes,
any
Your Honor.
objections to ad litem's A coming in evidence?
No, Ms. Hubbard, I'm not.
Okay. Exhibit A, I'm sorry. Exhibit A is admitted at this time with no objection. Ma'am, were you talking to someone?
No, Your Honor, I'm literally doodling right now.
Okay, ma'am, when you were back on that couch, you were muted. And your face was
I
saying-
appreciate your diligence on that,
and
Your Honor.
you were, and your lips were moving, man. I got video, okay, and I can always bring that video right back up because it's been recorded on YouTube and on Zoom. So, were you talking to someone, ma'am?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, because I'm getting ready to disqualify your witnesses, ma'am. So, no more, please. Thank you. The state, I'm sorry. You may proceed, Ms. Gustafson.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
All right, okay. Ms. Gillette, any other questions to Mr. Kelly at this time?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then, does the state have any other witnesses they wish to call at this time, please?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Gustafson, you're up next. Do you have any other witnesses? Do you have any specific witnesses you wish to call at this time, ma'am?
No, sir.
All right, I'm going to start with you then, Ms. Gillette. Who do you wish to call as your first witness, ma'am?
I don't wish to call a witness, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, ma'am?
I do not wish to call a witness, Your Honor.
All right, then. Mr. Kelly, any witnesses you wish to call, sir?
Yes, Karina Johnson.
All right. Get her in from the... I'm sorry, who are you calling, sir?
Karina Johnson.
Oh, she's the one on the iPhone? All right,
No.
so
She's the one. She's in the other room right now.
Oh, okay. You can bring her in then at this point, sir. Thank you.
Let me go get her. Sit down.
All right, please raise your right hand, please, ma'am. Ma'am, do you solemnly swear or affirm your testimony you're gonna give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you?
Yes.
All right, ma'am, would you put your hand down, ma'am? Would you please state your full name for the record?
Karina K. Johnson.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am. All right, this time, Mr. Kelly, I'm gonna allow you to ask Ms. Johnson questions. Again, since you're a pro se litigant, I want the questions to come through me. So at this time, Mr. Kelly, what is your first question of Ms. Johnson? Thank you.
I think that you need in here.
Yeah, he can stay in there.
Sorry. He can be in here, right?
Yeah, he can be in there.
He's in here.
Yeah, only non-parties are outside, sir.
Okay. All
All right,
right.
so at this time, you can ask questions of Ms. Johnson, but you need to run through me. So what's your first question, sir?
I'm sorry. So I'm asking her questions?
Yes, sir. You said you want to call her as a witness, is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, so what questions do you have of this witness, and give me the first question, sir. Thank you.
So during our visits, so during my visit with Meadow, what do you see like from me? Like,
All right. Okay. Here, let's back it. Let's slow it down, sir. All right, Ms. Johnson, have you been able to observe visits of Mr. Kelly with the child?
I have.
All right, and what has been your general observations of those visits, man? What have you seen?
That he is a great father to her and very attentive to her. He plays with her, he feeds her, he changes her, he makes sure she is well taken care of.
All right. And ma'am, have you ever observed anything as far as those visits? Again, this is a little expanding on the question that would give you cause for concern for the child's well-being.
No.
All right. Next question, sir.
I think honestly,
I'm sorry, sir.
yeah, I don't. That's the only question I had, I guess.
All right, then, Ms. Hubbard, any questions of Ms. Johnson?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Gustafson?
Ms. Johnson, you live with Mr. Kelly, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you are engaged, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ma'am, I'm sorry, do you have any children?
No, sir.
Okay. And right now, your household consists of just you and Mr. Kelly, or is there anyone else living there?
Just me and Mr. Kelly, sir.
All right, thank you. Ms. Gillette, do you have any questions of Ms. Johnson?
Ms. Johnson, have you and I ever spoke on the phone?
We have.
And do you feel that that conversation was cordial?
I did try to make it cordial. I felt like you acted very irrationally. You were very angry. You have said some very choice words that I did not like. And I also stated that I would not disrespect you because you are the mother to Meadow.
So, Ms. Johnson, you claim that you did not interact inappropriately.
I did not.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Johnson, were you attending these visits and were you a part of the drop-off at one point?
I was.
Why did you feel that you needed to do that?
I was with my spouse.
But his sister was driving.
Yes.
Okay.
And we went to her location, her house together, and we rode together to the police department at pickup and drop off where I stayed in the vehicle. I had no interaction with you. I didn't get out of the vehicle. I was not rude in any way.
Ms. Johnson, were you aware at the original temporary order, the judge did state that only one?
I was not.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions, Mr. Kelly?
No, sir.
All right, but this witness be excused.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Here's the deal, ma'am. You can stay in the room now if you want to.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Thank you. You're no longer, but you can't give any further testimony at this time. All right, Mr. Kelly, is there any other witnesses you wish to call at this time, sir?
I would call my mom, but I don't think she's here.
Yeah, she's back in.
Uh,
She's definitely having technical difficulties.
yeah, she's having difficulties. I don't have any more questions.
All right, then we won't worry about it.
Okay.
All right, then. So at this time, I'll go back to the state. Is there anything else the state wishes to present at this time, or any other witnesses the state wishes to call?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. All right, then, folks. Again, Ms. Gillette, I'll give you one last opportunity. Any other witnesses you wish to call, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to call my mother, Joanne Gillette.
All right. And actually, ma'am, you can actually bring her into the room, but your father has to remain in the other room just in case he has to testify also. Thank you. All right, ma'am, would you please raise your right hand? All right, ma'am, do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you're going to give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you?
Yes.
All right, then. You put your hand down, ma'am. Thank you. And would you state your full name for the record?
My legal name is Mary Joanne Gillette.
Okay, thank you very much. You may proceed with the question at this time, Miss Sarah Gillette. Thank you.
Joanne, you do know Alan Wayne Kelly, correct?
Correct.
And can you give your general opinion of?
Okay, whoa. It's good, man. I know you're not a lawyer. Lay witnesses cannot give opinions. Only expert witnesses can give opinions. You can ask her facts or questions about facts, something she's witnessed, but she cannot give a general opinion. She would have to have credentials to do so, ma'am. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay, you were here during the counseling times with Alan, correct?
Correct.
And you would see him interact with Meadow, correct?
Yes.
And do you feel that he did a good job interacting with Meadow?
Can she ask it that way?
Yeah, it's not really a good one, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'll let this one slide. Wait, go ahead, ma'am.
I'm a teacher of 42 years, so I have seen a lot of interaction with children.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm
going to let you add. What was your observations of Mr. Kelly's interaction? And I'm sorry, and let me back up a little bit. What time frame are you talking about? Did this take place?
When they were going through counseling, they had to have somebody in the room with them.
Okay, and that was late last year or what?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now go ahead and ask the question, man. What did you observe? Thank you.
When he had when he was doing this unsupervised visit as well, he would come. He acted very stilted with her, very uncomfortable with her. I have been with her when she has dropped off Meadow recently, in recent times. Meadow seems very reluctant to go with him, and I know that that has to do with not seeing him much. And I just see him very stilted with her. I guess that's the best way to describe it.
All right, thank you. Next question, Miss Sarah Gillette. Thank you.
Joanne, have you ever had any interaction or seen anything where Mr. Kelly was angry?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now stop. Hold it. Okay. Let's get some context again. Time, date.
I was just going to say that was when he was abusing Kendall. I was there the day he was arrested.
Okay. Here's the we're not going. We can't. Okay. It depends on the circumstances, but we're not supposed to go behind the birth of the child. Anything that happened, we're only looking at things that happened since this baby's been on planet Earth. So anything if you observe for the last year and a half.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. Things that happened that far back and before the child was even conceived are not technically relevant. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. So did Alan have Kelly Meadow at one point while you were at a baseball game with Sarah?
Yes.
Okay. Did he call very abruptly and say things to the nature of, you better get her right now?
Ma'am, you can't lead your own witness. You can tell, you can ask her what she said, but you can't tell her what she said. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, I was with Miss Gillette when Alan Kelly called.
And could you hear that conversation, ma'am?
I did hear it.
Okay, you can actually hear what he was saying.
Yes, he was saying, come pick up this baby now.
Okay. All right.
Right now, I'm at Walmart. Come get her.
And ma'am, when was this?
We were at a baseball game.
Okay, and well, back in the good old days, that would have been last summer, but I these days.
Well, yeah, this was just, I guess it was last summer. Yes, it was one of his unsupervised visits before he got the supervised visit. So I guess it was maybe last fall.
Okay, thank you. Next question, Ms. Gillette.
Did you hear conversations between Alan Kelly and Sarah Gillette while she resided here?
Yes.
Did you hear any concerns?
On
the conversation that you've heard, did you hear concerns in the way that he spoke?
All right, that's okay. Let me rephrase that. Ma'am, is there anything that you have observed that would give you cause for concern of the way that either party was treating each other or saying things to each other?
Verbally abusive.
Yes.
Don't leave, ma'am.
Pardon?
Sorry, she said something, so she can't do that. Thank you.
There was a lot of contention, and I would say he was very angry. He did not like what was going on. He did not like having to be going through. He felt, from my observation, he felt that it was all Sarah's fault. He did not want to be involved with anything, with any counseling, anything to do with what was going on, that it was all completely her fault, and that he shouldn't have to attend family counseling. He shouldn't have to do these things.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Next question, Ms. Gillette.
I just had it. Okay, so they don't let me talk about Meadow or Kendall. Do you feel that Meadow would be safe with Alan Kelly? Is it a
Yeah, ma'am, that's an opinion question. You can't answer that. Sorry.
Okay. During the time that Alan was residing with me, did you have any calls from Kendall recently when we were together?
Okay, I'm sorry. What time frame are you talking about, ma'am?
When he was out of prison and living in my home.
Okay, before is this before the baby was born or after the baby was born, ma'am?
After the baby was born.
All right, so would that be last fall, last spring?
It would have been like she was born in September, so things
Right.
that happened in October.
All right. You can ask your questions along those lines. Okay, please repeat the question so we can hear it.
You enter in the room. Okay, so has Kendall ever called you and shared things with you about Alan?
Okay,
I just don't know how to get to the point.
Okay, here's the deal.
Like she's hurt.
Here's the deal. She cannot testify to anything Kendall said. That's hearsay. Sorry. Okay.
Even if she's talking to me.
When she's talking to you, ma'am, but yeah, again, that's hearsay evidence. It cannot come in. If the testimony needs to come in, Kendall's the one that has to come in and give it. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Has Sarah ever shared anything with you in regards to things that happened after Meadow was born?
Can I still?
Oh yeah, you can testify to anything she said. She's a party. You can testify to anything Mr. Kelly said. You can testify to anything Mr. Gillette said. It doesn't carry the same weight as an unbiased witness. I mean, test information, but yes, you can testify to what she said, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Have I ever?
No, you can't talk to me.
You want to repeat the question?
I need the question.
Did I ever share with you that he had frustrations with Meadow while she was crying and irritable?
Yes.
Did I ever tell you that did Sarah ever tell you that he placed Meadow in a room alone and it wasn't a safe room to be in?
Yes.
Come on now. That's a lie.
Sir, don't interrupt. Again, she can testify to that information too, but again, it's testimony coming from a party, and I've got the right to weigh it and give it its proper due. Okay, so but again, under the rules, anything that either party has said is admissible as evidence. So but again, Miss Gillette, if anything she's saying that you could testify to, I would prefer coming from you instead of from her. So proceed. So, yeah, thank you.
Yes, she had told me that there was at least one time that he had put Meadow in a room off to the back, completely at the back of the house, and that he was very frustrated with her. With her crying, I'll say.
Miss Gillette, were you aware that your daughter, when she was pregnant, had to come off of some medications due to
Yes,
pregnancy?
Yes,
Had you and your daughter talked about what that would be trying to re-regulate?
yes, that it would be a difficult situation and that there would be time that needed to be taken care of.
And Mr. Kelly was aware of
Yes.
the plan.
Yes.
Do you feel that he did the right thing?
Again, ma'am, opinion.
I got you. Okay, so
All right, man, Ms. Gillett, you need to wrap it again. You're giving me information that you could give me. So, again, if you have something that your mom needs to testify to, that she actually witnessed separate and apart, then that's the kind of information I need. Thank you.
Your Honor, I just have a question because Ms. Gustafson or Janet, she was kind of able to add questions, and I like asked a blanket statement, like, do you feel that these children are safe with Alan Kelly? Can I ask that to her? Do you, in your opinion, feel that these children are safe? I can't talk about 4 years ago.
No, ma'am.
But I'm asking, like, were you aware that Alan Kelly broke through a door at Sarah's house? Like, I don't know how to word it. I'm not an attorney.
Again, ma'am, you need to testify to that, not her. Okay.
But we do that like in a disposition ending.
I'm sorry.
Like we do that in an ending where I get to give kind of like a disposition or something.
Yeah, I'm going to allow you to testify, ma'am, to make a closing statement.
Closing statement. Okay.
You can call yourself technically call yourself as a witness and testify anything that's pertinent. But again, I do have to make it concise and I do have to make it specific. So, and it's got to be it, and it's got to be relevant. So,
yes, Your Honor. I'll close with this witness, but can I call another witness?
Who's your next witness then, ma'am?
John Gillette, he's there, right?
Okay. Is he sitting there?
No, I asked her if he's here. He had a meeting to go to.
Okay. All right, man. Is he going to testify something different? Because again, I'm looking, there wasn't a lot there. There's some there for the visitation, but there's not a lot there. So,
well, at some point I'd have to be able to put forward like a character, character. And can I would like to call John Gillette, please.
All right.
Okay, Your Honor.
Here you go, ma'am. I'm gonna make this tight. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gillette.
I just have like 2 questions for you. You don't need the phone because
you can come on in here. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. You gotta it's
I had to
okay.
leave.
He's gonna swear you in. Put your hand up.
All right, just a second. I'm sorry. I'm having computer things here. There we go.
Yeah.
Gotta check. All right, then, Mr. Gillette, please raise your right hand, sir. All right, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm your testimony gonna give your days the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you?
I do.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Sarah Gillette, I'm sorry, Mr. Gillette, please state your full name for the record.
John Emery Gillette.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Gillette, you may ask your first question now. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Gillette, were you the first person that Sarah told was pregnant? And how did she tell you? How did she prove to you that she was pregnant? I want to see the judge. I don't want to see Ms. Hubbard. How do I change that?
I'm not sure how you're.
There you go.
I see everybody, so yeah.
Okay, so in what manner did Miss Gillette let you know that she was pregnant?
You recall, sir?
I don't recall the exact, I mean, we were out at her house.
Did Miss Gillette have a piece of paper? You gotta look at him, Dad.
Okay, that's okay. You know what? Ma'am, you can be a little bit more elaborative than that. You can ask him, did I present a medical document that shows that I was
Dad, did I present a medical document to you to prove that I was pregnant?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, and did you let Mr. Kelly know in that manner that I was pregnant?
Yeah, I told him that I had seen the medical report and that it was true.
Okay. All right, next
So-
question, Ms. Gillette.
Huh?
Next
Oh.
question, please. Thank you.
Did he immediately state that I should have an abortion?
Yes, he did.
And did Miss Gillette have COVID at that time?
Sorry, did you talk about yourself?
Yes.
Okay, you can say, did I have COVID at that time? I'm sorry, you didn't say it that way, man. Thank you.
Okay. Did I have COVID at that time? Was it so traumatic that you gave me a hug, even knowing I had COVID?
Well, yes.
Okay. Have you witnessed Alan being mean recently, Dad? Have you witnessed him being ugly verbally? Have you witnessed Mr. Kelly being verbally abusive recently?
Recently, I haven't seen him recently for quite
We
a
can
while.
go back like a year, like Meadow being, we have to talk in the time frame of Meadow.
All right, sir. Okay, let me slow
I'm
down.
trying, I don't,
Stop. Mr. Gillette, in the last year and a half since the baby has been born, have you ever observed any behavior from Mr. Kelly toward Miss Gillette that gives you cause for concern, sir?
Yes, sir, I have.
All right, okay, and if you could be specific, I'll appreciate it. So what have you observed, sir, and when did you observe it? Thank you.
Mr. Kelly, he owes me a loan that I gave to him so he could get a truck. And when I
Lies.
Sir, do not interrupt again. Thank you. You may proceed, sir.
and the last time that I saw him, he just doesn't talk. He just was mad.
so have you seen this anger while your daughter was pregnant and living here? Okay, let me reword it. Like, there is relevance to this. Did your daughter live with you while tiles were being placed in the home? And did Mr. Kelly live at the home while it was happening?
Yes.
Did you, when we would conversate and I was pregnant with Meadow, did you hear verbally abusive things?
At the home?
Yes.
Well, I heard you two arguing and shouting at each other.
All right, thank you. Next question, Mr. Gillette.
Thanks.
No, you're right.
Next question, Mr. Gillette, next question, please.
Are Meadow and Kendall at the same age of things that happened in the past?
I'm sorry, ma'am. That was not I don't know if that was a question.
Okay. Can you confirm that Meadow is the same, close to the same? Okay, look, I see how y'all do it. I'd like to enter an exhibit into
Okay,
the.
well, right now, unless Mr. Gillette is verifying
Okay,
that.
I mean, damn, dude, I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Okay, so right now, Mr. Gillette is the witness. Do you have any other questions of this witness, ma'am?
Do you love Meadow?
Well, of course, yes.
Do you just want to make sure that she's safe?
That's what this is all about, to make sure that Meadow is okay.
Do you feel that she would be okay on overnight visit?
Ma'am, don't go there. Again, that's an opinion thing.
Okay.
He testified to some things, anything he witnessed, but don't give me an opinion about something, okay?
So, Dad, you spend a lot of time with Kendall.
Yes.
Has Kendall ever shared things with you about recent scares? Recently, this is recent.
No, I'm not going to allow it, ma'am. I'm sorry. We're trying to get back to the child that was injured. We're not doing that, okay?
No, I'm not. I'm trying to get back to like this, even the last week. Anyhow, yes, sir. Mr. Gillette, what did you do for a living?
Well, I was in the military. I was a lieutenant colonel, and I'm an engineer.
Mr. Gillette, did you make colonel?
Lieutenant colonel.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions, Mr. Gillette?
Nope.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, technically, Ms. Hubbard, Mr. Gustafson, any questions of the Colonel?
Yes, sir.
They ask you stuff maybe.
Oh, yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. All right, then. Thank you very much, Colonel. And I'll go ahead and let Ms. Gillette call our next witness. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I don't have any other witnesses.
All right, ma'am. I've got all right. At this time, is there any other witnesses that need to testify as for the well, while we're here to set up this visitation thing? So, is there any other witnesses you wish to call at this time, Mr. Kelly? And again, sir, I don't. I know your mom's back in, so technically she can't be a witness anymore because she's been sitting here through this whole thing. But again, witnesses are what we're saying. What I say are witnesses. They're testifying the things they observed. I've heard from Ms. Johnson, so I know a little bit about the circumstances as far as pick up and drop off. I've heard from both of y'all. Was there anything else, sir, that you think you need to call a witness for to expand on what I've already heard, or is this pretty much just everything's going to be the same, sir? You can unmute, sir.
Yeah. I think anything
and I'm gonna let both of you make both you and Ms. Gillette make closing statements on your own. So that's going to be part of it. So any other witnesses, sir?
No, I think if I were to call her, it's just going to be an opinion type thing. So
okay, again, unless they're an expert witnesses, they
Yeah.
can't talk about that. All right, folks. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let the parties make their closing statements at this time. I'm going to start with Ms. Gillette, then go to Mr. Kelly, and then I'll go to the ad litem and then to the state. So at this time, I'll go ahead and Ms. Gillette, here's your chance. You can make a closing statement, closing argument of what you want the court to do and why you feel the court needs to do it. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe that we're all here for the best interest of Meadow. What can keep her safe? I don't doubt the love and the care. But I do fear for Meadow the interactions and the patience that I know can be lost so easily. I understand that we're painting a picture here, but we in our lives know the reality. And so, can he see Meadow? Yes, but let's protect it for a while. I worry about her not having words yet. I don't think it's a good idea to have, non-family members in the home. I don't think it's right that he's unmuted. It feels interrupting.
All right, sir, don't, Ms. Kelly, don't. Let her finish her statement.
I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
Okay, no problem then. But again, let her finish. All right, you may proceed, Ms. Gillette.
Just due to the vulnerability of Meadow and I know we can't consider a past, but there is one. There's one on both sides of us. But CPS has been in my life, yes. However, I'm still here with my kids, so I obviously have done what I need to do. I'm an amazing mom. He's a first-time dad. We just don't know. And I don't want to be fighting. I don't want to see and feel things that are thrown towards me on social media or, I texted him yesterday to say that she has hand, foot, mouth disease.
Okay, ma'am, you're testifying again now. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I see where we're going. I really pray that the court hears me and puts a modified version that moves it up to where she's not overnight until she has words. My mother stated she's 42, year teaching. Okay. Words don't come where she could verbally say something to me should it happen. And it's scary as a mom. I'm not supposed to know where he lives. I don't know the street.
Okay, ma'am.
No, but
now, sorry.
All right.
This again, what do you want the court to do? And you're telling me why you want it now. What do you want the court to do? Thank you.
Okay. I would like a modified versions of visits. I do think that
what type of modification, ma'am? That's wide open right there. So what do you got for specifically?
Well, okay, so supervised visits, maybe I laid it out in an exhibit, but we apparently can't look at it. Like I don't know, just determine it. You're the judge. Like I want it, I want it to where there's no overnights until she has words, basically. You can lay that out in, then maybe they get them Saturday to whatever. I don't know. You're the judge. Y'all do these things. I know it's a possibility. Okay. Do I not want him to eventually be in a just normal standard visitation? No, like, yeah, I want that. But this is a small child. She's vulnerable. And I could go on and on and on. So I'm going to wrap it up. But at the end of the day, I'm here for the best interest of Meadow. And I don't know how to come forward and show that. I've done the very best that I can. And so I just lay it in the hands of the court and I just pray that we can do what's best for Meadow. So.
All right, Mr. Kelly, your turn, sir.
So for me, obviously this isn't back and forth trying to, bash anybody or whatever the case may be. So I mean, I would say that I'm worried about Meadow and Sarah's mental health and stuff like that. But what I really want is to be able to see my daughter. Obviously, I know that I can take care of her. I'm a whole lot more. My mindset is in a better place now, and I know before, I do have a history of anger and blah 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 whatever. But here lately, I mean, I have witnesses, my mom, everybody, my family, they all see how much better I'm doing now. So I think that I could take care of Meadow, and I'm not trying to get, I just want to see her and I don't want to fight with her. And I can do co-parenting. It's not hard. It's really not hard to co-parent. Hey, this is what's going on. Okay, then let's do this. I mean, hey, she went to the hospital. Okay, well, what do I got to do? What? She's sick. Okay, well, whenever I get her, I can get, I can go get something for her, whatever the case may be. It's pretty simple. I just, like I said, I'm better off, and I know that I can take care of her, and whatever fears they have, they're valid, but I can assure you that Meadow is not in danger with me.
All right. I said, I think I said I was going to go with Ms. Gustafson and then Ms. Hubbard, but I'll go ahead and that's the way I'll keep it. So at this time, Ms. Gustafson, closing statement. Thank you.
Your Honor, certainly Meadow has two parents that love her very much. And I have been able to go out to Miss Gillette's home, and I've been out to Mr. Kelly, and I've observed him with Meadow several times. I've observed Miss Gillette with Meadow. Meadow loves both of her parents. She feels safe with both of them. I did not have any concerns with Mr. Kelly taking care of Meadow. Mr. Kelly has a family that supports him. I talked to several family members that apparently are there to support him if he does have issues or questions or needs. He does live with a fiance, and Meadow seems to relate to her well as well. He has been having supervised visits for over 6 months. And, I think that both of these parents have concerning history, but since the child has been born, Mr. Kelly does not have any history. He has been sober. And, unfortunately, Miss Gillette does have a history that's occurred since the birth of the child. Mr. Kelly is not trying to take custody away. I think that working together would probably be what's best for Meadow. And I think Mr. Kelly is probably ready for a standard possession order. But so that Meadow is ready, I think since she's just been having supervised visits with Mr. Kelly, that, perhaps we do like 2-day visits, then 2 overnight visits with 1 overnight, and then on into standard possession order. And that's not because I don't think Mr. Kelly is ready to start off with standard possession order right away. I think he is, but that's just so Meadow is kind of eased into staying a night away from mom. That would just be my suggestion, Your Honor. But I do think that both of these parents truly want what is best for Meadow, and that is my observation. And that's after reviewing the CPS records, the criminal records, and all of the information that's been provided to me by both parties.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Stolson. Ms. Hubbard, I know you're going to come in, but your interest is more the nuts and bolts and in other words, the Jerry Maguire show me the money stuff. So go right ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state's in agreement with what Ms. Gustafson recommended as far as joint managing conservatorship and the modified visitation, the shortened modified visitation. I think the one thing the state would ask for is that until Meadows 3, just do what the court usually does and limit the summer visitation to the 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. So yeah. So. And
Your Honor, the problem is the nuts and bolts of it is dependent on the source of insurance. I believe Mr. Kelly testified that he does have Meadow covered through his job, and he can put her on dental. What I would ask is that the court allow him to submit documentation showing the insurance costs through his job, and then the court base guideline child support on those insurance costs in order the child to be carried through his job. As far as retroactive support, Your Honor, I'm sorry I didn't develop it more, but from what I can tell from the testimony, the CPS case was when parties were no longer living together, no longer caring for the child together. So I believe the court's looking at 9 months of retroactive support. I do not have any testimony on if Mr. Kelly provided any direct support during that time, so I apologize, Your Honor. But I believe that's the time frame we're looking at, and the state would just ask that the court make an appropriate ruling regarding that.
Your Honor, I didn't mention, but I do think it's appropriate for there to be a restriction of alcohol use or drug use within 24 hours of any period of possession of Meadow.
All right, Ms. Gillette, you raised your hand, but you're muted, ma'am. What was your question, ma'am?
So I'm following
with insurance.
No, I had an ER visit under him. I have bills of like $978, $160.
Okay, here's the deal, ma'am. The order will contain information on how you're to do this going forward as far as uninsured medical expenses. It should have been in the last order, but I haven't checked that. That didn't come up, so I haven't read that part of the order. But you're both responsible 50-50 for uninsured medical, and you need to send him the bill. You folks are going to use AppClose going forward. No ifs, ands, or buts. I'm sorry. We're not going to keep y'all out there in the wild. I want the parents.
I've done that. I've done that. So I want to know how to get that.
It's still. That's not. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Right now, that portion of this matter is not before me. If there needs to be a motion for enforcement or a motion to compel or whatever you need to do, ma'am, it has to be done and placed before the court as a motion where I can actually take it up. Right now, I'm looking at setting up a final order, and if you say he owes you money or there has been unpaid bills, then there has to be something filed for that, and that's set for a hearing separate and apart from this hearing.
And he's using everyone for money. I'm sorry, everybody.
All right then. Anything? Okay. Here's Mr. Kelly. I'm going to need for you to get go to your good old personnel. I'm going to use the old term, human services, and get a readout on what the dental is going to cost you, and get a copy of your pay stubs to both Ms. Gustafson and Ms. Hubbard, again, find out what the dental is going to actually cost you get that in a letter, or get the personnel or human services to say, this is what his insurance is going to cost him each month going forward for health insurance. This is the amount that covers, if his is free, we need to know, this is the amount he has to pay extra for parties. And this is what he has to pay extra for medical, and this is what he has to pay extra for dental, and get the math on that done, and that way the Ms. Cover can get the math on that done to make a determination of what the final child support is going forward. But again, sir, it's going to involve pay stubs and possible direct information from your Human Services Department, okay?
Okay.
If you have questions or they have a question about what is exactly needed, contact Ms. Gustafson, and she can get you that information, or she can talk to him if you give them permission to talk to her. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Question.
Yeah, questions. So with this moving forward, that it lifts the it lifts my area to where I can go. Like right now, I'm only allowed to go within Bell County or something like that. I can.
I'm sorry. What are you talking about, sir?
So if I'm able to start, if I'm able to get Meadow by myself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, depending on the time frames I set up, sir. Obviously, you can go, but if you're limited to 4 hours or 8 hours, obviously you're not going to drive there.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Yeah. But I just want to know. I just want to, for the peace of mind, to be able to take her somewhere and go do.
Right. Again, sir, I'm going to make a ruling on how I'm going to set up the visitation going forward, and obviously based on the time frames and what rights I give you under that. You can interpret what that is, and if you need a specific interpretation from the ad litem, she can give that to you also.
Okay. All right.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Gillette?
Yeah, I would like no limitation on where I can move. I have family.
That's not going to happen, ma'am. I've already written down. You're restricted to bail and contiguous. I've already written down on my docket sheet.
Well, with my job though, I literally.
No.
Okay, I'll get
it. Okay, that's not called, ma'am. No, you're not going to be able to move away because that's the first thing you're going to do, ma'am. No ifs, ands, or buts. All right, it's not going to happen. All right, guys. I'm going to take. I've already started writing down what I want the visitation package to be. I had not finished it. I'm going to go ahead and finish up writing that out. I'm going to go ahead and name both parties temporary. Permanent joint management servitors. I'm giving the mom the right to make decide domicile, but that right is restricted to bail and contiguous counties. I'm going to set up guideline child support, guideline guideline child support, and I'm going to order the father to maintain health and dental insurance on the child. Again, sir, ma'am, you'll get a copy of the order, and the order will pertain. We'll have information on how you need to handle uninsured medical expenses and uninsured dental expenses going forward. Vision's not covered. Obviously, she's only a year and a half, so that's not probably going to be a factor for a while, if ever. And that can be taken care of later on. But for right now, like I said, I'll look at the health insurance and the dental, and Mr. Kelly will need to get that information so we can come up with a final amount what his child support is going to be going forward. I will make a ruling on what retroactive should be going forward, and how many months and so forth we'll use, and what the repayment of those amounts should be. And but again, right now, I've still got to write out the visitation package I'm looking at, and I'm only about a quarter of the way through it. So at this time, is there anything else, Ms. Hubbard? You're muted, ma'am.
Is Your Honor granting non-disclosure for Ms. Gillette's address?
Let me think about that one. All right, let me think about that non-disclosure. I am going to make the exchange going forward to Temple PD. Okay, again, I'm not sure about Troy. They're a smaller force, and at Temple PD, they actually even have someone. They even have a card up front that shows that somebody can get from the police department, show that they were there and the other person wasn't. Okay, so obviously, I'm going to go with Temple PD on that one. Thank you. Anyway, any other questions, Ms. Hubbard? But I'll think about the non-disclosure.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else, Ms. Gustafson?
No, sir.
All right, Ms. Gillette. Anything else, ma'am? Any questions?
I do have just one last question.
Yes, ma'am.
Why am on the medical? Like, why am I responsible for having their deductible? His insurance crap. His deductible is so high, and I'm having to pay half of their deductible, and then once they meet it, they're financially benefiting off of that, which is what he loves to do.
Okay, here's the deal, ma'am. Again, if whatever he has through his employer is what the state says I'm supposed to use. If he has a high deductible, stop.
Anyhow, it's just wild. I wondered if you could
Here's the deal, man. If you want to go get insurance yourself, you can get insurance yourself. But again, whatever the uninsured medical expenses are, they're 50-50. Okay.
Well, I have her on Medicaid though.
All right. Remember, I know if you have her on Medicaid, you can keep her on Medicaid. I'll have that put in the order. I'm not going to order him to pay the state Medicaid money back. So long as you're eligible for Medicaid, that's fine.
It's just, that's crazy. I'm paying a deductible.
So, all right, but ma'am, the insurance is the insurance, high or low deductible. Uninsured medical expenses are 50-50 under Texas law. That's it. So if they're that includes if they're uninsured medical under Medicaid, that insures uninsured medical under DAD.
All right, I got you.
All right. Okay, Mr. Kelly, any other questions, sir?
No, sir.
All right, then let me finish writing this one up, and I'll get that one. Try to get this one out along with that one, that child support one. I said I was going to get out this morning, and I haven't finished up on that one either. So hopefully, Ms. Hubbard, I'll get you some. I'll get Belinda send you an email on both these as far as the final is concerned. Yes, sir. You had something else?
So, Karina's allowed to be around her, right? Around Meadow, correct?
Yeah, there's no restriction of either party having people around the child at this point. They're going forward.
No worries.
You're both grown ups. Again, you associate with who you associate with. That goes for both parents. We don't monitor that kind of thing. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, if you heard my morning speech, always the law takes it for granted that going forward, you're both going to do whatever's in your child's best interest and take care of her and provide for her. And that's where we'll leave it unless CPS gets involved again. Thank you.
Okay. One last thing. I do request though that at drop-offs we do have some sort of a restriction due to it's intimidation, it's uncomfortable. There's no reason for anyone to be with us if this is what we're doing at drop-offs and pickups.
I always allow one witness to be with each party if they wish to have a witness. All right. That way, it's no hearsay. She said, okay, you can have one person come with you. He can have one person come with you if he wants to, but no more than one. Okay. All right, everybody.
He's not happy.
Ma'am, don't say a comment. Thank you. All right, thank you, folks. We're off the record, and
I don't have an issue with her. She's trash.
Miss Gillette, get back here now.
Sorry, I thought it was muted. I apologize.
No, it was not, Miss Gillette. Here's the deal, Miss Gillette. That's going to cost you. I'm going to count to 10, Miss Gillette.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
That was getting ready to cost you a weekend in jail.
No, I apologize. I do. Okay. I thought I was muted. Okay. And I mean, everyone has an opinion. I apologize.
Oh, everybody, but you're not allowed to give your opinion in my courtroom, ma'am. And this is my courtroom. Understood?
He gave an opinion as well.
Okay, here's the deal, ma'am. I'm sentencing you to 48 hours in jail.
Oh.
Jail. You hear? Hey, yeah, you want longer? Shoot for it. I'm not going to enforce that. I'm going to find you in contempt. I'm sending you to 48 hours in jail. I'm going to hold that in abatement. Anything comes up over the next couple of weeks, before this thing comes final, I will order you to start serving that sentence. Do you understand me, ma'am?
Okay, so right I don't have
to start paying that sentence. This is my court of law. You don't get to come in here and try to rush out over me. I will not allow it. You understand, ma'am? Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. I truly apologize to your court.
All right, well, here's the deal, ma'am. Again, there's going to be in this order that I've held you in contempt, that I've sentenced you to 48 hours in Bell County Jail, but I'm holding that in abatement until further order, ma'am. Do not do anything to make me enforce that order or take that abatement off, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor.
Unless you want to spend 48 more hours in Bell County Jail. And I don't, because I really don't want to do anything that's going to break your probation or anything like that. It shouldn't, because it's a civil contempt, but I am holding you in contempt, ma'am, because you were not muted. I heard it all.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, we're off the record and everybody's free to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, he didn't really have to say much of anything. He just let her go on, and she showed her true colors. She showed who truly is the angry one, and it's not him. So, he appeared to me to be much more stable, in a much better place than her. So, in my opinion, he should be trying for full custody and she gets visitation because she's living with her parents. He's got his own home. She's the toxic one in that relationship, and you can see that clearly in this video. I mean, she was getting snippy with the judge. She didn't like the judge telling her stuff. Can you imagine what she would be like to live with if she gets that way with the judge? That's shocking to me. So anyway, thank you all for watching. I know it was long, but I do appreciate you watching it, and I'll see you next time.